feel so nervous to film this right now. Like I have actual butterflies in my stomach. I don't know why I'm so nervous to film this. If you're new here, I use this channel to share all about my life. I share my travels, I share my journey with androgenic alopecia and trying to regrow my hair through PRP injections. And recently I've been sharing about how we moved into a house that we renovated. And today I have a huge life announcement that I have been putting off announcing publicly, but here we are. So let's do it. Hey, I'm Haley B, and this is my baby. Let's do like a bigger shot. Look at that. I cannot believe this dress. This is from Pink Blush Maternity. I have it in blue too, but I'm like it's just like a little rotisserie chicken. I cannot believe I've managed to hide this as long as I have, but it is time. I'm Haley B, and this is Baby B, and this is my dog Bart kind of coming into the frame. So, I am pregnant. I am currently filming this at 19 weeks. So I am 1 week away from being officially halfway through my pregnancy. And yeah, I've been keeping a big secret, haven't we? Yes. And I'm ready to finally share it. So today I am going to tell you guys all about how I found out I was pregnant, because it's kind of an interesting story. I would have enjoyed hearing somebody's story like this because I did not know right away that I was pregnant. So this is just a little story about leading up to it and how I found out that I'm pregnant. I'm hoping to be able to just talk through this and not doing any cuts. I don't know if you can tell in my voice. I feel like I'm like out of breath because I'm anxious to be talking about it. So I kind of have like that like nervous feeling you get. And my stomach is also growling right now because I'm always freaking hungry. But yeah, we've been keeping this a secret, and a lot of people are like, why do you want to keep it a secret? I've been really close to announcing it a few different times, and my sister was even like, why do you want to keep it a secret? Don't you want people to congratulate you? And I am really excited to be pregnant, but it has been so much fun just keeping this a secret with me and my husband and our close circle of people in our lives, because I'm like, the whole world doesn't need to know my very personal life. Like, I share a lot of my life on social media and on YouTube, but this just felt really, really personal, and it's been fun not having other people know about it. I just feel like there's so much negativity, and I've had such a blissful pregnancy because no one's known, and it's just been really fun just being pregnant and figuring it out by ourselves. But we are really excited to share it. And I mean, you saw this belly. I cannot keep this a secret much longer. So I'm really happy and excited to start sharing it. I don't know if I'm gonna post this video today, or even if I'm gonna post it to social media yet, but I'm just preparing myself just in case. So let's cut to the chase and talk about how I found out I was pregnant. So it is currently mid-February, and I became pregnant in October. So like I mentioned, I'm 19 weeks, and I stopped taking birth control. I was on birth control for 15 years. Like over half of my life on the birth control pill. And I'm gonna make a whole video on what that was like, getting off of birth control after being on it for so long, and how that affected my body, my hair loss, different things. So there's a lot of videos to come, but I got off birth control after being on for 15 years. I got off it in August, and if you follow me on Instagram, I have a lot of saved, highlighted stories from where we went to Europe for a month, we went to France, we went to Italy, and that was like my first official month trying to get pregnant. Did not get pregnant, didn't get pregnant in September, and then, I mean, it happened really quick, and I'm really thankful for that. So now it comes to October, and I just kept testing. It was, new to me. The first time I've ever actually taken a pregnancy test was when I was in Europe, the first time in my life. So I thought it was a lot of fun to take these tests. So, and I was really excited and anxious, and I wanted to find out if I was pregnant. So took some tests about like 4 days before my missed period because we had a trip planned to Colorado. Negative. I took a couple tests leading up and they were all negative, like up to the day before we left. And I was just like, okay, whatever. Like at this point, the way the tests work is that I wouldn't know if I was pregnant or not, because it was like you'd have like 90% accuracy when I took it, and it was just negative, like instantly negative. So I'm like, I'm not pregnant. So I go to Colorado. I ate so much sushi. Oh my gosh, they have the best sushi in Colorado. Ate so much. I really didn't drink that much. I had some champagne at my friend's house. I think I had some cocktails when we went out to dinner. But overall, just still enjoyed my life the way I normally would. And then I did not get my period. I was supposed to get my period in Colorado. I did not get it. And I remember I texted my friend about it, and she's like, well, do you feel anything? Do you feel pregnant? I was like, I've always heard that if you're pregnant, they always say that you will feel it in every bone of your body. And I'm like, whatever that means, I don't feel it. Like, I feel totally fine. I just really don't think I'm pregnant. So missed my period in Colorado, and I'm like, that's okay, because I did just recently get off of birth control. So I'm like, maybe my body is taking some time to regulate being off. However, the last period I had was like right on time. So I'm like, it's a little bit nerve-wracking that it wasn't happening, or that I wasn't getting my period like I should. So came back home. At this point, I was like a week late, and I took a test like every morning, and it was negative every time. I even called my gynecologist's office at the time and was like, hey, my period is a week late and this never happens. Like, what do you think? They're like, we'll call you in a blood test. So I get the results back from the blood test. This is on a Friday, and it's negative. So I'm like, okay, definitely not pregnant. And I was starting to get kind of panicked because you want your body to work the way it should. And so just thoughts start going through my mind. What if I have a cyst? Oh my gosh, what if I have a tumor? What if something's wrong? What if they say I should have stayed on birth control? Like, my body doesn't know how to handle it. And what if I have to go back on? And just all these really anxious thoughts going through my mind. And my husband's trying to calm me down, and he's like, well, maybe the test was wrong. Maybe the blood test was wrong. Maybe you are pregnant. And I'm like, that's not a thing. Like, the blood test said I'm not pregnant. And he's like, well, maybe, it's too early. Maybe you don't know. I'm like, it's been a week late. Like, it's not too early. I'm not pregnant. And he's like, well, maybe. And I'm like, please stop. I'm not pregnant. I got pretty mad at him because I know that he was trying to cheer me up, but I was like, you're just giving me false hope right now. And then the next day is Saturday. I went and in that evening, my period's a week late, went to the bathroom, and when I wiped, there was a little bit of what looked like maybe my period was gonna start soon. Just like very lightly, like kind of like brownish collared stuff. And so I'm like, oh, like relief. Like, okay, my period's coming. It was just super late. I'm thankful to be getting it. And then that night/morning, so it's technically Sunday at this point at like 5 a.m. I woke up with the worst possible cramps ever. Oh my gosh, they hurt so bad. I was like curled up in a ball in my bed, sweating. I didn't know if I was gonna throw up. I was in a lot of pain, and I was thinking to myself, this is like the worst period of my life. I'm going to be happy if I wake up and there's not like blood all over my bed. And so I wake up in the morning, and I'm thankful that I'm like, oh, I didn't like bleed through my tampon. But then I take the tampon out that I had in, and it was completely clean. And I was like, what the hell is this? Why? Like, I was very confident I was starting my period. What were those cramps? What, like, that was super weird. And then pretty much starting that evening, things started to change in my body, and I could feel it. So I almost wonder if that was maybe my implantation moment when I had the super bad cramping. So I started having a really upset stomach, which I had for like the next few days, which was really unusual for me. Just like a really upset tummy. And then on Monday, I started, like, I could actually feel something like in or on my uterus. And everybody I've told this to thinks I'm crazy, but I legitimately just felt like the smallest little bit of pressure on my uterus. I'm very in tune with my body, and I felt this, and I was like, I told my husband, so you remember how you were like, well, maybe the blood test was wrong? And I was like, it's not wrong. I'm not pregnant. Well, I'm like, maybe I'm pregnant. And he's like, oh no, like, no, you said you're not pregnant. I was like, I think I might be pregnant. I don't know. There's either a baby or a tumor in my uterus. There is something in my uterus, and I can feel it. And you know, it's Monday, Tuesday I still feel this, so technically still no period has came. Wednesday I still feel this, and it was like 8 p.m. at night, and normally I'm showering or in bed at this point. I was vacuuming the floors, and my husband was like, what is wrong with you? And I was like, I do not know. I feel so weird. And I went upstairs to take a shower, and I just remember being in the shower just thinking, like, just feeling this little pressure in my uterus, and just thinking to myself, there's either a baby or a tumor in me. Like, there's something there. And I went after my shower, and I sat down on the edge of the bed, and I was just like, something's not right with me. And then I went to the bathroom, and I wiped, and there was a little bit of light pink spotting, and I instantly was like, I am pregnant. And which is super weird, because if you see blood, normally I feel like people would think, oh, there's my period, or oh, that's not good, especially because it was light pink. It wasn't the same color as if I started my period, or if I were to accidentally cut my hand or something. It was just very light, and I've always heard that sometimes you can spot a little bit in those first couple weeks, and it's totally fine. But like in my soul, and like people say, in every bone in my body, I knew I was pregnant. And I decided I was gonna wake up the next morning and take a test. I had one test left, and I was so anxious when I woke up that I woke up at like 6:45 a.m., which I never do. And my husband was still at home, and I had always imagined that when I found out I was pregnant, I would record myself, because I recorded myself the other times so I could have that reaction video. And I imagined that my husband wouldn't be home, and then he'd come home and I'd have a cute little surprise, like, I'm pregnant, and it'd be this whole big thing. And that is not at all what happened. So woke up super early, and because I've always heard that morning pee is the best to test with. So I grabbed that test, I was using it. My husband comes upstairs to finish getting ready for work. He's like, what are you doing? I was like, I'm taking a pregnancy test. And it was so casual. I didn't record anything. It was just sitting on the counter, and it was the clear blue digital where it says pregnant, not pregnant. And I had never actually watched the test load until now, because I had always took the test, wrapped it up, hid it, came back so I could do the reaction video. So we were just sitting there watching it on the counter, just like the digit, just like loading. And I was like, gosh, could you imagine like being a teenager and seeing like how nervous you would be watching this thing load right now? And we were just kind of like just like, oh, just, you know, talking and watching it load. He turns around, the second he turns around to get ready, it pops up, pregnant. And I scream, I'm pregnant! And he comes running back in, no way, no way. And we're both just looking at the test. And I just start crying. And I have my hands over my face. And he's like, I can't tell, are you happy, are you sad? And I said, I'm happy, but holy shit, there's a baby in me. Because it was like instantly just this feeling of it's no longer me, it's me and my baby now. It comes over you, and I'm just like, there's a baby in me. There's life inside my body. I am growing this baby as we speak. And I was just in shock. And unfortunately, my husband had to go to work like right after we found out. So, I mean, we kind of carried on like we would the rest of our day. That night, we went to Chick-fil-A to celebrate. Oh gosh, I just said the word. I don't know if you can see my dog's head looking at me. He loves going there. We call it Chicken Place, so he doesn't know it. But yeah, we just decided like, let's keep it a secret. But all I know is I have this little baby in me now that kicks me pretty much all day. It is so active. You know how people are always like, oh, my baby is the most beautiful baby, or my baby is this. I'm like, my baby is the most active baby. I actually call it the Hulk baby because it is so strong and it loves protein shakes. Anytime I have a protein shake, it goes wild. Like my uterus turns into a fight club. And this baby is bouncing up and down and off every wall in my uterus. So I can't wait to share with you more as I go through this pregnancy journey. And I'm gonna be making a lot of different videos like on what it was like to go off birth control, how getting off birth control affected my hair, how pregnancy has affected my hair, different symptoms I've had, because I have not had the normal pregnancy symptoms at all. I've had super weird ones. And I'm just gonna make some short little videos between now and when the baby is due. In the meantime, you can follow me on Instagram at HeyHaileyB, and me and my baby will talk to you next time. Bye.